Hello, this is Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am here live for my week 5 of my Christmas card class to go series. So this is something new that I've tried for the last 5 weeks is instead of just popping on and making a quick card with you on Wednesday mornings, I've been doing a full card class. And then you have all week to place an order with me and get the make and takes for this card class. I've actually really been enjoying this and think I'm going to continue and start another series. So watch for posts about that. But for now, this is week 5 of our Christmas card class, and it's featuring the Yeti to Party stamp set. So this is a really sweet little stamp set, and I'm excited to be playing with it today. All right, so I'm going to switch over to my desktop and get started. All right, so this is our Yeti to Party stamp set. And the first card that we are going to create today. As you pop on, if you want to say hi in the comments, I love to see who's here and joining me live in the morning. And if you're watching on the replay, you can just do #replay and let me know. All right, so in your make and take kit, you will always receive enough supplies to create 2 of each card. You will also receive a PDF tutorial, and in the tutorial there will actually be a link back to the Facebook Live replay of this video. Good morning. So here we go. We've got our stuff packaged here, and I'm just going to put the extras, and because I'm only going to make one today, I'm going to put the extras into this other envelope. So you're going to get a balmy blue card base, a piece of basic white to go inside your card. In this case, you're going to get 1 piece of basic white to stamp both your Yetis, a piece of designer series paper, a little piece to stamp both of your mugs, and a little strip of Night of Navy cardstock. All right, so I'm going to tuck those ones away and just get started creating with the materials that we need for this card. I'm going to move my stamp set out of the way as well. All right, so first thing I want to do is take one of my pieces of basic white and glue it inside my balmy blue card base. That's going to get it off my desktop, but also keep it safe from any falling ink. Now, before I do that, I am going to stamp some snowflakes both on my insert and onto my envelope. So I'm going to just grab one of my snowflakes and some Night of Navy ink and get started here. So I'm just going to do 2 quick little snowflakes down in the bottom corner and 2 or 3. Let's do 3, 4 up in the top corner. Let's do 3 down here. There we go. So I've just got a few, which I think I like it better like that. So just a few stamped in the corners. And then I'm going to do the same for my envelope, is just stamp a few snowflakes onto the corner of my envelope, just for a little bit of interest. So sorry guys, I'm noticing that my lighting is really off today, and I'm not sure why I haven't changed a single thing in the setup of my craft room. Very strange. And I can't seem to make it any better. That's odd. Well, I'll try and keep things flat so nothing casts a shadow. Very odd. All right. So with that snowflake stamped, we're going to grab our liquid glue or whatever adhesive you enjoy using. And I'm going to glue this piece to the inside of the card. All right. So I like using liquid glue because, as you can see, I'm not great at making things lined up. So liquid glue allows me to scooch them around a bit. Okay. All right, so there's our inside all decorated, and we can close that up and we can start stamping on the front of our card now. So for this next bit, I should move this so you guys can see our sample. For this next bit, I'm actually going to use both of the snowflakes in our stamp set. And I'm just going to kind of randomly stamp these on the right-hand side of our card front. I don't need to go all the way over to the left because I'm actually going to be covering that up with designer series paper. Okay. So a few here and there. Give the snowflake a little twist if you want. And you can really do as many or as few of these as you'd like. I'm going to do one more down there. I'm sure it's going to get covered. So there you go. Any kind of pattern you want on that side with our Night of Navy. Now we're going to glue our designer series paper to our card front. And when I glued mine down, I did leave a small, about a 1/4 inch border on the left-hand side. So this isn't lined right up with the fold. All right. So take that and there we go. So once I'm happy with where that is, I'll just press it down. And there you go. We have our front all done. Now you can see my designer series paper is just a little bit taller than my cardstock front. And you can see on the inside that little strip of red. So you can just grab a paper trimmer. And I like to just pop in here. Oops. Don't let that take too much. There we go. And, oh, my blade's not in place. There we go. With my blade in place, I can just trim away the excess. And, oh, there we go. Not quite perfect. Let's try that one more time. It's hard when it's such a tiny shred we're trying to take. There we go. I heard it cut that time. All right. So there we go. We have that all trimmed up. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do for this one is actually stamp our sentiment. Now I have a piece of Night of Navy to stamp our sentiment on. And the sentiment I have chosen is the Is It Christmas Yeti sentiment. Now you're going to notice that this one is actually a 3-layered sentiment, and I'm going to be putting it onto my Night of Navy cardstock. So first thing I'm going to do is use my embossing buddy and go over that Night of Navy piece so that it doesn't have any oils on it. And then you've got a few choices here. You could grab just a little sticky note, or you can grab some masking paper. I'm actually just going to use a sticky note today, not my masking paper for this particular one, just because I find it's quick and easy to do it this way. So I'm actually going to grab 2 sticky notes, just itty bitty ones. And I'm going to cover up the word Yeti. And I'm going to cover up the word Is It. So now I have just the word Christmas showing on my stamp. And I am going to ink that up with Versamark. There we go. Now, this is an important part. You have to remember to remove those sticky notes. Don't let them go far, though. You're going to need them again. And I'm going to stamp the word Christmas pretty much as centered as I can on my strip of Night of Navy. All right. So now with that done, we're going to grab our chamois and give our stamp a really good clean. There we go. And I'm now going to cover up all of the words except for Is It. And again, I'm going to ink this up with Versamark. Very importantly, remove that sticky note. And I'm going to come in here. Oops, this is going to be tricky for me. There we go. I want to be able to see my word Christmas so that I can use it to line up where I'm going to put Is It. There we go. And again, we're going to clean our stamp on our chamois. This time we're going to cover up all of the words except for Yeti. Grab our Versamark, ink that up. Remove that sticky again, and then come on in and stamp our word Yeti. All right, so now we have all 3 of the little lines stamped. That wasn't quite as straight as I would have liked, but it's okay. And we're going to cover it up in white embossing powder. All right. Looks like it's almost time for me to get a little bit more embossing powder. I'm running quite low. All right, so with that covered in white embossing powder, I'm going to kind of tap off the back. Now I can see that I didn't do a great job of making sure this was clean before we started. I should keep this here to collect the extra. So I'm going to bring in my little paintbrush and clean up the extra bits, because I want a really sharp looking sentiment for this card. Okay. So you can use a finer paintbrush as well if you'd like. Oh, now I took too much off my Christmas. Whoops. So that's the nice thing about this, is if you take too much off, you can always dip it in and reapply it. All right, so we'll give that a little tap. That's looking pretty good, but I really don't like little white bits around my words, so I'm going to come in and just give it a slight better clean. Okay. All right. So there we go. And you do want to make sure that your whole sentiment strip looks nice, because we're not trimming this strip at all. All right, next job is to take our heating tool, and I'm actually going to grab my tweezers to hold this so I don't burn myself. There we go. All right. Oops. Just dropped my chamois. Yikes. All right. So there we have our, oops, there we go, our embossed sentiment. And we are now just going to glue this straight across the bottom front of our card. So that's all there is to that. So you can use any adhesive you'd like. I like my liquid glue. So I just get a little dot there and then drag it across. There we go. And just like that. There we go. Is it Christmas Yeti? I love this little guy. Okay, so with that done, we can get to work on our Yeti. So in your package, you will receive kind of a larger piece and a smaller piece. Those are for stamping your Yeti and your mug. We're actually going to stamp those in Night of Navy as well. So you can fit 2 Yetis on this larger piece of paper, because you're going to have the supplies to make 2 cards. And we're going to stamp one just like that. And then when you do your second one, here I'm just going to stamp both. When you do your second Yeti, you're just going to turn them upside down And voila. So the two Yetis fit nicely right there on that piece of paper. And then you're also going to want two of our little mugs. And so you can just stamp those side by side. Okay. Now, for most of you, at this point, we're going to color them and then fussy cut them. So I'm going to grab my balmy blue and polished pink Stampin' blends to do this coloring. So I'm going to start with actually my light balmy blue, and I'm going to use it to just come in here and add a little bit of blue to any areas that I feel like might get that little shadow on him. Okay, so kind of mostly along his right hand side. I don't know, just like that. And maybe that top crease on his arm as well. All right, so just like that. And then actually I'm also going to go around his face. Even though after that, I'm actually going to color his face in with, I'm pretty sure, yeah, dark. So we're going to do some dark accents on here. There we go. Now I am going to go over his eyes one more time with the dark tip. Just really accent them. All right. Now, while we've got our balmy blue, let's also give our mug a little bit of color. Good morning, Danielle. So for our mug, I'm going to color in the base and the inside with my dark. And then I'm going to use my light balmy blue to color my mug. And give it a little bit more in the right-hand corner there. Color the handle. And then I am going to take my fine tip of my dark polished pink and go over that little star on the mug. So you can see how that pops right out on that mug. Here, let me show you guys. Give you a good view of that. Sorry, the lighting's so bad. Ugh. All right, so that's kind of how that's going to show up. Okay, now we're going to take our light polished pink and come on in and do a little bit of accent on the tongue. And then we're going to use our dark to color in those horns. There we go. So that is our Yeti and our mug all decorated. Now this is where you can fussy cut, or if you manage to grab these guys during the special that we had a while ago, we had an exclusive die set, the Perfect Partners, and there were Yeti dies. Unfortunately, these are no longer available, but for the joy of today's video and keeping things speedy, I am going to use them. Oh, I don't have my mug, so I won't be using my mug one. Where did it go? That is not, oh, there it is. Okay, so they were a cute little die set. They're unfortunately no longer available, but they will help us out today. And I will assure you that before I had these dies, I had the Yetis, and they're actually very, very easy to cut out all on their own, like just to fussy cut them. They're very forgiving. Now I am going to have to trim this guy in half to fit him through my machine. There we go. All right. So if you are stamping along with me, take your time right now to go ahead and fussy cut this guy. Oh, okay, come on. There we go. Oh, it's still not lined up. Sorry, maybe fussy cutting would be faster. I am not great at lining things up this morning. There we go. Okay. So, whoops. Pop that one through. There's our Yeti. So you can see even the die cut, it's not super detailed. It's just a quick run around the edges. So not a biggie. And when you do this mug, you just do a quick little run around the outside of the little steam bits. You don't need to cut down in between each one. Just do a quick run around the edges. There we go. There we go. All right. And we got those guys. Fantastic. All right. So I've got that nasty cough. It's just lingering. I was actually sick last week, and this cough just will not go away. All right. So now that we've got these guys cut out, we're going to grab some dimensionals, pop them on the back here. And so I'm just going to do his legs, body, arm, and his head. There we go. Pull each of those off. And pop him down onto our card front so that that front foot is flat and he's kind of along the border of that DSP. Oh, isn't it awful, Danielle? It just won't go away. I don't feel sick. It's just this nasty cough. All right, and then I'm going to put one dimensional on the back of our mug and put that hot cocoa into our Yeti's hand. And voila, that is our first card all done. So it's really quite a simple card, easy to make lots of them, which is what I need at this time of year, because this is really my last hurrah for Christmas cards. What I have done today is what I have done, and they're being mailed out this weekend. So yeah, that's about it. We gotta be finished. All right. And so I'm going to pop those off to the side and bring in our second card. Here we go. Oh, isn't he cute? I know. I love him. So our second card is really, I can never remember what kind of card this is. I actually wrote it down. There's a name for this, and I didn't want to forget it. It's called a split panel card. This one looks super duper fancy, and it's really not. And it's really super easy to create as well. Oh, you know what? I'm just realizing what might be wrong with my phone. Sorry, I'm going to make you guys dizzy for just a moment. And I might be able to correct our lighting a bit. Okay, let's see. Hopefully that helped. I just realized that I had my phone on last night. There we go. That's a little bit better for lighting. I had my phone on last night, and I had turned the brightness way down. So that might have had something to do with it. All right. So again, you get everything you need to make two of these cards. So you've got a card base, a card front, somewhere to stamp your Yetis, and some DSP. Put all of that over there, and we'll put our envelope off to the side. Now, this is really, really an interesting card to put together. So you've got your card base. Let's grab a bone folder. So you've got your card base, and then you've got this card front. Now, my normal card fronts that I cut are 4 by 5 1/4, and this one's not. This one is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's literally like the full card front. It covers everything. We're going to take it and we're going to make 2 cuts into it. We're going to cut it at 1 inch, and then we're going to keep that. I'm going to slide it over and cut it at 1 inch again. So we've basically just taken 2 inches off of our card front. Now we're going to save those pieces because we need them. All right. So this lower piece, we're going to do some stamping on. So I have the Get Yeti to Party. It's your birthday. I know it's a Christmas card class. If you need these to be all Christmas, then go ahead and grab, where's my stamp set? Go ahead and grab the Is It Christmas Yeti and just ink these up in the same way I'm about to show you. So you could do Is It Christmas in pink and then Yeti in Bermuda Bay. So it's still going to work the same way, or you could do Winter Wishes and Holiday Hugs and do them in the two colors. Like, you know, keep it Christmas if that's what you need. But I'm going to actually do mine as a birthday one. So I've got Polished Pink is my first color. And you can use a sticky note again and cover this up and like just go to town and ink it like crazy. Or when you hold your stamp pads with the color side showing, you'll notice that your ink pad itself is quite close to the end and you can actually see where it's hitting your stamps. And so I'm just going to ink this up so that I'm not inking up that birthday sentiment. I'm only inking up the Get Yeti to Party. So I've got only that inked. And I'm going to come on over here and pretty much like centered top to bottom, I'm going to stamp that. All right. Now I'm going to clean my stamp. You're going to notice that we clean our stamps a lot on these cards. Sorry, guys. All right. So we've got that cleaned. I'm going to put away my Polished Pink and grab my Bermuda Bay. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but I am simply stamping the birthday sentiment. So again, you could say Get Yeti to Party and then grab yourself a very small Merry Christmas sentiment as well. So that's another way you could kind of mix and match these. Now, because I'm using the same stamp again, I'm going to line up those top ones with the bottom ones, and then it gets perfectly placed. So kind of nice that way. All right. Sorry, guys. So now that we've got that stamped, let's kind of put together the base before we worry about our Yeti. So I'm going to set our Yeti off to the side. I'm only going to grab one of these 1-inch strips right now. So I'm going to put the other one off to the side. I'm going to take this 1-inch strip that I have and I'm going to flip it over. Now, because I use my paper trimmer, it does kind of have a ledge. So there is a front and a back side to it now. And I'm going to bring in an adhesive that you are going to want. This is the foam adhesive strips. These things are fantastic. They're slightly thicker than a dimensional, and they are great for doing something like this where you don't want any sag at all on your project. So I'm going to grab one of these strips, and nope, my backing didn't come off. Okay, I'm going to grab one of these strips. I'm going to peel it all the way off, and I'm going to lay it down on the back side of one of my 1-inch strips. Now, when I get to the end here, I'm just going to grab some paper snips. I am just going to snip that at the end. There we go. And I'm going to lay my other one up here. There. And then I've got a little piece here. And I'm going to come in and finish this up. And again, snip off the extra. Okay. Ooh, I went flying. All right. So now I've got that foam adhesive there on my 1-inch strip. I am going to take this and peel one of those edges off, and I'm going to place it on my DSP. Oh no. I'm going to place it on my DSP so that I am just covering up those little tree trunks that you can see. So there we go. Just covering those tree trunks. Now I'm going to flip this over and actually make sure that that's straight. Oh yeah, that's going to be great. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over now. And before I peel this edging off, I'm going to actually use some liquid glue. You can use a dry adhesive if you prefer. But I always prefer my liquid glue. Okay, and just spread that around so you don't have any pockets of it, so it's not going to glob anywhere. And now that I've done that, I'll peel off this other adhesive. Okay, so everything on this side is sticky now. We're going to find the top of our card, and I'm going to line up that top corner and the fold. All the way across, and our other top corner. Oops. So this is where using liquid glue is really, really handy. Okay, so now that I'm sure that that's straight, I'll push everything down. So we now have our card front, and we have our first little ledge on there. All right, so that's done. Now we're going to take our stamped bit, and we're going to put the same ledging onto our lower piece and attach it to our card front. So again, I'm going to grab some foam strips, peel them off of the backing, and attach that strip right across there and trim it off. Oops. There we go. And then same on the other end. There. And then we need a little bit more. So you can peel this one all the way off, or you can peel it just somewhat like I've done. Line it up and trim it. And that way you don't have to try and piece that whole bit back into the packaging. It's just right there and you can lay it down. All right, so with that piece done, we're going to peel these backings off. I'm going to do both sides. There we go. Make sure your sentiment's facing the right way. And we're going to line that up. There we go. All right, and just press down where you've got the adhesive behind. All right, so that creates that really cool panel look where our DSP is in the background. And then on the side, you can see it's just a nice thick, like it's a very thick card. All right, so that's done. We can move on to working with our Yeti. Now, I love a white Yeti. But for this card, it just seemed like a lot of white. So we're going to try something different. We're going to use our Memento black ink to stamp both our Yeti and the banner. So we'll get our Memento on here. Stamp this guy. There we go. And grab our little banner. Love this thing. Makes such fun little party cards. There we go. And we are going to color this with our polished pink again. Let's see. I'm thinking that was Bermuda Bay. Pretty sure that was Bermuda Bay. No, you know what? It wasn't. It was Pool Party. That's dark Pool Party. And Crumb Cake. So this color in the background is Bermuda Bay, but there's also Pool Party in the very, very background. So I've used my dark Pool Party to color my banner and my horns and his tongue. Although actually I think I'm going to do his tongue in polished pink since we've got it here anyways. There we go. He looked a little weird with the blue tongue. All right, and then I'm using my dark polished pink to do the banner. There we go. So just like that. And then to color our Yeti, let's put those off to the side. There we go. To color our Yeti, I actually started with my dark and did Did a quick once over his whole face. There we go. I use the dark to accent his eyes again, just like we did with the other one. And there we go. And then I also did just a little bit, not much though, because this gets hard to blend in. But I did a little bit of an accent, just like I did on the other one. And some spots that I thought were going to need it, just to give him some depth. There we go. All right, so not much with that dark though. Then I'm going to take the fine tip of my light and I'm going to blend where I put that dark. So it's not blending, I know. It will though, it just takes a little bit of time to get going. So anywhere where I use dark, I'm going to use that fine tip and kind of drag it out a bit. Okay, so you want to kind of go in a motion where you go from the dark away from the dark. Oh, that squeak. All right, and again over here. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to take my larger end, and this is where it's going to start to really blend. Because I'm going to take that larger end and go right over top of everything, like all the dark bits, all, like, you name it, and in a nice circular motion. And this is where we're going to get it really blending now. Okay. There we go. It's a lot to color. I think that's why I like him in white. There we go. All right, so you can add as much or as little as you'd like in color to him, and blend them up. And voila, there we have our finished Yeti. So now our last job is just to fussy cut him and the banner. I am going to save us some time in this video though and grab those little dies of mine. So I'm just going to, there we go, trim him up so he fits in my mini. I'm feeling a little lazy today. Don't want to walk across my craft room to my big machine. That's pretty bad. It's one of those weeks where in the middle of report cards at work, and every bit of energy I can conserve is a good thing. All right. Okay, so we've got that all done. There we go. And the banner's also really actually fairly easy to fussy cut, but I do have the dies, so I am going to use it. Oops. So we'll pop those on there, line that one up. There we go. And there we go. All right. So there is our banner. All right, now I dropped some stuff. Let's grab that. There we go. All right, so now we're going to attach this guy. Now this card is already very, very thick. So I am not going to use dimensionals to attach him. I'm actually going to grab some mini glue dots and use those. So as you can see with these cards, adhesives are everything. Your ability to easily make these comes down to having the right adhesives. Normally it's the right tools. Today it's the right adhesives. So I'm going to put a mini glue dot on each foot and a mini glue dot at the top of his head. Oh, where'd that one go? There it is. And that's all we're using. These mini glue dots are really strong. And so when I put him down, I want his arm to be like at that border so we don't see the trees behind. So that's why that mini glue dot had to just go at the top of his head and then some down on his feet. And then we'll attach this little banner. And I'm just going to do that again with mini glue dots. I'm going to put one on the first flag, not even worrying about the ends of the banner. Just going to do the first flag and the last flag. And that's going to be more adhesive than we need. Okay, and then this just gets put into his hands. All right, just like that. And voila, he's carrying that fun little banner. Now, I was happy with this card. You could add any bling to it that you wanted. Iridescent rhinestones would be beautiful on this, but because I am going to be using the Sparkle and Shine Sequins on the next card, I thought, well, why not use them on this one? So that is what I'm going to do. I am actually going to show you another really cool use for your Take a Pick tool. So here comes my liquid glue. And I'm going to do two little dots. Well, actually one up here, tiny dot of glue. Actually, I'm going to do two up here and one down here. Tiny, tiny dots of glue onto my card front. Not even sure if you guys can see those. They're so tiny. So itty bitty glue dots. And then the end I almost never use, but it's so handy with sequins. I'm going to take this little putty end and I'm going to go in here and find the exact pieces of sequins that I want for my card. Now, I picked that up from the back, so I'm going to turn that around and pop that into the liquid glue that I put onto my card front. Okay, so this is such a cool tool for being able to pick out exactly what you want from your sequins jars. All right, and there we go. And that glue will dry clear, and so we won't be able to see it on our card front when that's dry. So this card can't, it's not a ready to go card. You can't throw it into your envelope immediately. You've got to let this one dry. But there we have some fun little sparkle on our card front using just our sequins. So there's our second card, all done. Now our last card is, I love making shaker cards, and I don't make nearly enough of them. It's this beautiful little mountain shaker with our Sparkle and Shine sequins in there. So such a fun card. Let's see here. Oh, I've got extra stuff flying around. So let's move this out of the way. All right, so you're going to get everything you need again to make two of this card. There are a lot of bits in this card. A lot of bits. All right, I got everything out of there. Good. So you're going to get a card base. You're going to get a white square, a piece of Pool Party, a piece of Designer Series paper, a piece of window sheet, a blue frame, a blue Pool Party circle, another piece of white cardstock, some sequins in a baggie, two strings. There we go. And I feel like I missed a layer in there. Let's go through and just double check. Oh, no, I got them all. Good. All right, so you get a ton of stuff in this card. So this one is actually pretty quick and easy to make. Again, like they're not, they look fancy, but they're really not. So let's get started. We've got our Pacific Point card base and our big piece of balmy blue. We're going to get that right inside our card so it's out of the way and not going to get ink or anything on it. But I am going to put some snowflakes in there before we go ahead and do that. And we're going to put them in with Pacific Point. So let's grab that. Now, I don't think I mentioned, but the designer series paper that I am using on this is actually the Storybook Gnomes designer series paper. I've used it on all 3 cards, and it's got all these beautiful snowflakes and trees and all of that. And then the other sides are all little, oops, can't really see it that way. Oh, and we've also got some really nice other patterns in there, Nordic patterns and stuff. But then the other side, there we go, is all like gnomes and mushrooms and stuff like that. I just haven't featured that side of the paper. So I've just been focusing on the snow to go with our Yeti. So this is the Storybook Gnomes designer series paper. And you guys, it is going to be for sure retiring. It's I'll be posting about our retiring list a little bit later this week, probably. But starting on December 1st is our last chance sale. And there will be some sales on certain items. The Storybook Gnomes paper is not one of the sale items. They tend to retire all of their DSP, like with very few exceptions. Occasionally they'll carry over a DSP, but that's only happened in the last few years. And I don't think any are carrying over this time. So yeah, this designer series paper is going to go quickly. And when it's gone, it's gone. They are not replacing it. All right, so with our snowflake stamped piece of white on the inside so we can write in this card, we'll move that out of the way. You're going to grab your balmy blue layer and your designer series paper. And these two, see it in gorgeous, I'll show you that side. So gorgeous like mountains and trees on one side, and then our beautiful snowflakes on the other. So we're going to come through here, glue this to our balmy blue layer. Wow, I'm bad at lining things up today. There we go. So get that all glued together. Get the glue off my hand. Ugh, unreal. Okay, so that's done. We're going to take the twine. This is Starry Sky twine from the 2022 to 2024 in color Baker's Twine pack. Oh, we're going to take the knot out of there that I'm about to form. Yikes. There we go. Now I'm going to just leave a little tail on this end so that I'm going to be able to use this in a bit to tie a bow. So I'm just going to hold that where I want my bow and wrap this around. Now, if this isn't exact, don't worry, because we'll be able to move this around. Like, so I just moved my bow a little bit to make the two ends even. And I'm going to tie a knot first. Okay, so we've tied our knot. Now we can scooch this around, and you can even scooch this around after you've tied your bow. Like, not a big deal. And I think I actually want that to come down a bit. There we go. All right, so that's pretty much where I want it. We'll have a bit of flex still in a bit. Okay, tie our bow. So I like to do 2 bunny ears and wrap one around the other. And then size that how you'd like. There we go. And then if you have a frayed end or the ends are too long or anything, you can just come on in and trim those. I just had one little frayed end. Okay, so we've got our sweet little bow on there. I'm just going to see if that's kind of, that's exactly where I want it. Perfect. So with that exactly where I want it, because now we won't be able to move it, I am going to glue this whole layer to my card front. Now you could use tear and tape or Seal Plus for this as well. But you definitely want something that's going to have a strong hold when it's finished, because that twine is kind of there in the way. And voila. So once you've done this, your bow will not be able to be moved. All right, so that's done. Now we can start working on our shaker card piece. So you have this little square, and we're going to stamp our mountains on here. So we've got two sizes of mountain, and I'm going to start with my smaller mountains. And let's see, 1, 2 smaller mountains. Now I am going to grab, oh, where did I put it now? I had it. There it is. I am going to grab my masking paper for this. This is just so much easier with masking paper than with a sticky note. All right, and I am going to stamp 2 little mountains onto my masking paper. And then I'm going to cover up my ink for a few minutes. Now, with those 2 little mountains stamped onto my masking paper, I am going to cut them out, and I am really truly cutting like right on the line. I'm not leaving any border. Okay. There we go. All right, so I've got my 2 little mountains stamped and cut out, and I'm going to bring them in here and peel the backing off of my masking paper and put this down. Now you can do this with sticky notes, and they even have those sticky notes that are full backed, but I do recommend, if you're going to do it with a full backed something kind of adhesive, because otherwise your sticky notes aren't stuck everywhere. Sticky notes are a bit thicker, so sometimes you also get a spot where like the ink doesn't apply too close to the edge of the sticky note, whereas this masking paper is so thin, you don't get any borders like that. Now I'm struggling to get this masking paper backing off because I didn't stamp near, like they actually put a nice fold in the paper so that you don't have troubles. But I didn't stamp near that fold. Silly me. All right. So I'll just show you here on the masking paper, they actually have like, oh look, easy to peel. I just didn't use that. All right, so now with that guy done, I'm going to grab a large mountain and ink him up. And I'm going to stamp 1 right here over top of my other 2 mountains. So you can see, like, I just stamped right over them. It doesn't matter. I've got masking paper there. All right. And then I'm going to come in and stamp another one over here. And again, it's going right over my mountain. It doesn't matter. All right. So now we can stamp 2 large mountains and use them to cover up what we want to cover, or because I know I can see where this is, I'm just going to use my 2 small mountains. I'm just going to carefully peel them off and move them up to where I know I need coverage. And I'm going to grab that large mountain again, ink it one more time. Now before I set it down, I'm just going to make sure that it's staying on my masking paper. There we go. And then I'll peel these off. There we go. Now these are still quite sticky, so I'm going to hold on to those and save them for future projects that I'm going to be probably doing like today. So if you're going to be like a while before you do another one, I might not save them, but I know I'm going to be stamping today, so voila. All right, so you can make your mountains however you'd like. Mine are a little bit taller and less spread out this time than in my sample, but you know, whatever, however you want to do them. Now, here comes the fun part, is coloring these. I am going to bring in my Pool Party and polished pink, or sorry, not Pool Party, my Balmy Blue from the first card. My Balmy Blue blends and my polished pink blends, and we're going to color these mountains. So I'm going to actually start by coloring all of them in Balmy Blue. Not the white tops, just the bottoms of the mountains. And again, I'm going to kind of color the right side a little bit more to give that little shadow in there. And I'm going to do that for all of my mountains. Okay, so let's go. Circular motions create the nicest kind of look. And again, dark, dark, dark. Okay. Now, just 2 more, 3 more. Wow, can't even count today. Yikes. All right. So how are you guys doing with your Christmas cards? I am feeling very behind this year. I feel like I would have normally mailed them by now, so that they arrive for December, but everything's a bit delayed. We're not even going to be getting our tree up until December 3rd this year, which is crazy for us. We normally have it up in November, but oh well. All right, here we go. Just about done. And again, darken that right side. All right, so we've got all of our mountains done in blue. And now I'm going to go back through this time, first time with my light polished pink. And I'm going to color over top of any of my mountains that I want to actually be purple. Okay, and I'm just doing a quick pass over. Now, if you find it's become too pink by doing this, you can do another pass over with your Balmy Blue, and that will help make it a bit more purple. I'm going to do all of them first and then decide where I want darker. And so for that background one, I'm actually going to use my dark polished pink. It's going to give us a really deep color. Now it's becoming very polished pink right now. So like I said, we'll be able to go back over this with our blue and fix that up. Okay, so there we go. Oh, very pink. All right. And then you can see as we go back over with the blue, we're getting more of a purple tone to that. There we go. I'm going to leave that one light, and this one I'm going to make really dark. Okay, nice. Very cool colors. All right. Nope, I don't like that straight line I got there, though. Give that a little blend. Okay. So there you have it. We have our purple and blue mountains now, and we're ready to make the shaker card. So this one, you are going to grab, again, our foam adhesive strips. I'm just going to move some of these stamps out of the way. All right, so we want our foam adhesive strips, and we are going to apply these right to the image we just colored. And now I'm going to put them out as far as I can to the edge, and then snip them off. Okay, now when I do my next one, I'm going to put it right up so it's touching that other strip. No gaps in that corner, please. Okay, because this is what we're using to create our shaker card. If we have gaps in that corner, we will have sequins falling out of our card. All right. So we've got that. Oh, that's going to be an awkward little piece. Oh well, we'll figure it out. All right. So now this piece, I'm going to come in there. Like, you literally cannot leave any spot open. So we're going to get a little tiny piece to go in there. Now this side, I'm going to push this up against there, run this along my card, and then I'm going to come right in and snip right at the edge so I can push that in and tuck it in. So now we have a full no gaps frame for our picture. And this is how we're going to keep all of our sequins in place and make our shaker. So this foam adhesive strip is really a must-have for making shakers. It just makes life so much easier. And you can put nice, really tiny little frames and stuff on these when you've got this thin foam adhesive strip. All right, so with that done, you can either grab the contents of your baggie. Now your baggie will have enough for 2 cards in it. So just use half of it, or if you make a $70 purchase and you get the whole container, then you're just going to take a pinch of it and throw it in. So it's just 1 pinch of sprinkles in there, sequins. All right, so those are in. Our next job is to take our window sheet, and we have to peel all of our backings off here so that this is all sticky, and we want to keep it flat. So we have those cool bits in there. I just love these guys. Now at this point you don't want to tip this because your sequins will stick to your sticky edges and then your shaker card won't close properly. So you want to take this window sheet and adhere it to your foam adhesive. So at this point we have our fully enclosed shaker. We're good to go. But this isn't pretty, so we want to put a frame on here. So what I did is I used the 2 largest Stylish Shapes squares and created you a Pacific Point frame that's going to cover up that adhesive and make it beautiful. So to apply this, you could use any kind of adhesive. If you've got Seal Plus, it's kind of cool because it comes off in little chunks. You can actually like come in sideways and just let a little piece come off on there, but it's a little challenging. It takes a little skill. So I am going to do something a little less challenging, a little more time consuming, but less challenging, which is to grab my mini glue dots and place those in my corners and 1 on each edge as well. So you're actually going to end up using 8 mini glue dots to attach this. You probably get away with 4. You probably don't need the 8. I'm just a little bit weird. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So I'm not sure if you guys are quiet this morning or if things are not showing up on my feed. I am doing a beta trial of what they call local streaming. Not really sure what it means. I don't know if it's affecting commenting and stuff. I don't know. The internet changes every day. All right. And I won't bother with the last one since I put that little piece of seal there. So you should have 8 mini glue dots or sticky things on here. Now I want to make sure it's all lined up before I push down. I don't want to see my adhesive behind there, but I also don't want this sticking off, like so that I can see stuff sticking out the edges either. All right, there we go. So my frame is on there. Now this piece is a little bit heavy, and oh, thank you, Mary. This piece is a little bit heavy, so again, you want to use a really strong adhesive to apply this. So Seal Plus or liquid glue. I am, of course, going to use liquid glue. Now you can see our blends, we used a lot. They bled right through. So if you are working on like a nice table, make sure you have a protective layer or something down. I should have mentioned that before when we were using the blends. All right, now this guy, I'm going to try and keep him with an equal border, top, bottom, and right. And put him down right over top of our twine and everything. That's why he's heavy and he's going over twine, so you really want a strong adhesive. And I know that that liquid glue will do the job once it's dry. All right, put that to the side, and we still need to add a sentiment. So we've got these 3 cute stamps in here. It says Winter Wishes, the ampersand, and Holiday Hugs. So the trick to doing this well is to stamp the 2 sets of words first and then add in your ampersand. So I'm going to stand up to do this so I can have a good view. Put your winter wishes as high up as you think you can. It's nice because you can see through these, so you can see where the stitching is on our circle. And below that, we're going to do our holiday hugs. And then if you don't have enough space there, I do, but if you don't, then you could always put it off to the side. That's why I like to do my tops and bottoms first. And there we go. I do have the space for the end. So winter wishes and holiday hugs. It's so cute. Now to attach this guy, you can't just use a dimensional. I'm sorry. The reason you can't is because they're not as thick as this foam adhesive. I told you guys the foam adhesive was quite thick. It's thicker than a dimensional. So I'm just going to come in here and take a little piece, a little chunk, and pop it behind there. Now I've put it kind of off to the left side so that it doesn't interfere with my frame. And then I'm going to grab a mini glue dot. Oh, the last mini glue dot on my roll. Yikes. And put it off to my right-hand side so it'll stick to my frame. All right, time for new mini glue dots. And now, move all this out of the way. Yikes. We're going to take this, line it up. I like it so it's covering that whole top corner. There we go. And attach that. And that is our finished card. So that's our 3rd card in this card class. And it's the fun shaker card. I love these shaker cards. So let's just bring back our other cards from today. We have got 3 super fun Yeti to Party cards for you this week for our card class. So if you are new to my card class to go, a $50 purchase will get you the make and take kits required to create 2 of each of these cards. And a $70 purchase before shipping and taxes will also get a package of the Sparkle and Shine Sequins added into it. And so ordering for this is open till Sunday night. And then next Wednesday, I will cut and mail all the packages. Behind me, you can actually see I've got all the packages for last week's Merriest Moments card class all laid out and ready to go. They just need envelopes. So I just got our labels printed, and I'll be heading off to the post office in a few minutes. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, the link to order is in the description of this video. I hope you guys all have a great week. And if you are sending Christmas cards, I hope you get those out successfully before the crazy December rush. I do know, oh, that's one thing that I would like to share with you is Stampin' Up! Has said that December 13th is not even the last day that they'll guarantee packages will arrive before Christmas, but the last day that packages are likely to arrive before Christmas if you order. So if you have a wish list and you want somebody to grab you something for Christmas, make sure they place your order before December 13th. And if you're ordering for someone, please, make sure, and really sooner is better, because you don't want it arriving on the 24th. So yeah, that's about it. It's crazy to think that we're thinking about Christmas already, but I guess it is just a month away. Crazy. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.